is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Thank you for joining me and welcome to this Hall of Fame game analysis. We're back. Football is back like cooked crack. And not so much the game itself, it's what it symbolizes that brings us together tonight. Cowboys get the victory over the Arizona Cardinals in what is the most meaningless preseason game of them all, 20-18. But that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's just good to see football again. And so just seeing guys running around, hitting each other, brings a smile to all of our faces. And so it was a great night just to see those Hall of Famers who will be inducted into the 2017 NFL Hall of Fame. That was nice to see. Terrell Davis, Jerry Jones, good old Jay was out there. LaDainian Tomlinson, Jason Taylor, Morton Anderson, Ken Easley. It's nice to see those guys finally get enshrined. Kurt Warner heading up that class. So I thought it was a nice change up having the game on Thursday instead of having everything jam-packed into the weekend. You remember what happened last season and how they had to cancel the game because of the field and the turf not being dry. And Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints, donated $10 million to the Hall of Fame funding of the stadium. That's why they named the stadium after him. And so the field looks a lot better. And we actually had a game this year. And it was actually entertaining for the first half. We're going to talk about the game. And really, this particular game, not so much about, again, as most preseason games are, not really about the score, more so about how guys perform, and most importantly, guys staying healthy. And for the most part, both teams came out of this game unscathed, and that's the way you want to do it. A lot of the starters didn't play in this game. You didn't expect them to. Generally, that's how teams treat the Hall of Fame game. Again, these teams are both going to have 5 preseason games instead of the standard 4 for all the other teams around the league. So no need in putting extra mileage on your star players in a meaningless game like the Hall of Fame game. However, we will talk about some guys that, if you're a fan, you wanted to take a look at tonight, and some guys that I thought were focal points for both teams as we break down the game a little quickly. And then I want to get into just basically warning everyone out there about the dark, very, very bad man that's lurking around camps around the country. So stay tuned for that a little bit later on. But for all those of you joining me out there, and I don't have my elaborate setup tonight, so I can't really see who's out there, who's not, and if you're leaving me comments. But welcome to the stream. Let's just talk about the game quickly and get in and get out. I don't want to keep you here that long tonight. Obviously, it's already been a long night. Game came on at 8. It's now 11:30, so you know how that goes. But let's start with the Arizona Cardinals in this game and if you were a fan of the Cardinals, what you were looking for in this game. You wanted to see the young guys, obviously, Hassan Reddick, Budda Baker, Chad Williams. All of those guys were out on the field on full display. Will Holden was out at guard to start the game, a guy you drafted out of Vanderbilt that was a tackle that I thought probably would be kicked inside the guard. It was good to see him out there, along with Dorian Johnson. Both of them started the game at both respective guard positions, so we'll see how those guys progress as the preseason moves on. Robert Nkemdiche, that's not a name you would have been probably thinking about. If you're a Cardinals fan, obviously you know how big of an impact he's going to have up front to fill the shoes of a guy that left in free agency that got it done for you for so many years up front. And so you're going to need Robert Nkemdiche to step up big time. Calais Campbell, huge shoes to fill. And Nkemdiche, I thought, looked good. And I think that's the foresight that Cardinals fans have to love about GM Steve Keim. Look, that pick last year, a lot of times we as fans are so anxious to see dividends from our first round selections, but sometimes it's about foresight for the future. And that was one of those picks where they knew Calais Campbell's deal was coming up. They didn't know if they were going to be able to re-sign him. And you saw the kind of money he commanded on the free agent market. Didn't want to give up that kind of bread for a guy that was north of 30 years old and probably soon to be on the downside of his career. So what do? You draft a guy in the first round, you bring him along, and you hope that he is ready the following season. And that's what you're hoping for from Robert Nkemdiche. And I thought he looked really good, took a nice step forward towards having a good campaign for the Cardinals in his second season. And I think this was a great start for him in this game. Thought he looked good, got off the football explosively, made some plays. He looks the part of a guy that was a first-round pick just a season ago. Another guy that was selected in the 2016 NFL draft for this Cardinals football team, Brandon Williams, at the cornerback position, a guy that was a running back, made the conversion over the corner. He still seems to be struggling. If that's the guy you're hoping is going to get it done for you opposite of Pat P., you're going to be in some trouble yet again. Remember, that was a very troublesome position for you last year. Could easily end up being a problem for you this year if guys don't step up. He did get an interception. It was not pretty, but it was an interception nonetheless. So you hope that helps boost his confidence moving forward. But he still, to me, continues to struggle at the cornerback position. But Hassan Reddick looked good in his conversion from basically a base 4-3 defensive end at college. A guy that was very versatile, that would stand up, that would move around, but basically was a hand in the dirt defensive end to an inside linebacker. And I think he looked good tonight. He's a guy that's going to continue to progress, and you want to see him get better. And they showed some plays, one particularly down by the goal line where I thought he could have shot his gun a little sooner. The hole was there. He saw the running back get the football, thought he could have reacted a little sooner, but he still got there. And that's a play you expect him, as he plays more, to make a lot sooner and maybe even make that tackle in the backfield. So it was good to see him out there moving around. Buda Baker running around out there. Again, another one of those guys that you're looking for big things from this season. You lose Tony Jefferson, going to need to replace him. Buda Baker could be the guy to walk right into those shoes and start getting things done at the safety position. So again, you're looking for these young guys to come in. Most importantly, stay healthy but be productive while they're out on the field. And I thought you got to see that from some of your young players. Chad Williams with a nice little catch and run. Almost had a scoop up of a fumble on special teams for a touchdown late in the game. But it wasn't. But it was touched by him first before the Cowboys player touched it. So just good to see the young guys out there contributing. And if you're a Cardinals fan, those were all good things and takeaways from this game. The biggest takeaway from the game, though, if you're a Cardinals fan, is just how good Blaine Gabbert looked. Who expected that? Now, we all know your head coach, Bruce Arians, is the quarterback whisperer. And so it looks like he's getting to another quarterback and turning him into a serviceable quarterback in this league. Look, Blaine Gabbert, I thought, was solid for the 49ers, but no one was expecting him to do much of anything on a very bad 49ers roster. But I thought he looked exceptional tonight. I thought he looked like a quarterback that was confident in what he was doing, making checks at the line, accurate throws to guys in stride, allowing them to pick up yards after the catch. I thought Afani Moma looked good, and that guy's an athletic freak, and you saw a little bit of what he could bring to the table last year, and I think he's getting more and more comfortable. He looked good. I thought both of your tight ends looked good, even in the run game, and so Kerwin Williams did a good job carrying the rock. So I thought the Cardinals looked sharp offensively with their backups in, and I thought of all the guys that looked sharp, the sharpest of them all on the night was backup quarterback Blaine Gabbert. So that's a good sign for you, because you just don't know what you're going to get out of Carson Palmer. And I'm not saying Blaine Gabbert is going to be a guy that can step in and win you games, but I tell you this much, it's better than the alternative that you had a season ago. So we go from the Cardinals to the Cowboys in this game, and what, if you were a Cowboys fan, what you should have been looking for and looking at in this game. Of course, same thing here. Young guys, you want to see how they are coming along. I was dying to see if ex-Notre Dame linebacker was going to play in this game, and he did not. They're still bringing him along, and that's good. You don't want to rush him. It's been a long journey back for him. And at some point, you're hoping to see him hit the field because the Cowboys are hurting at the linebacker position, and they're going to need guys to step up. And I think he's going to be a guy that they're going to have to rely on. And so hopefully he's able to get on the field sooner rather than later. But of the guys this year, Taco Charlton, we saw him on the field. Didn't do much of anything in this game, but it's good to just see him out there running around, and you're hoping he gets more comfortable and acclimated to the NFL, speed of the game, power, and all of those things. Chidobe Awuzie was out there at the cornerback position, another guy that you're probably going to have to rely on in his rookie campaign, so it's good to see him out on the field running around and doing some things. Anthony Brown, a guy that you drafted last year out of Purdue that had to play a lot for you last season, got beat a couple of times early in the game, one on the crossing route to Brick Golden. And so you're going to need him to step up because he's going to be one of those guys you're going to be relying on. I think the secondary is going to really shape up for the Cowboys with all the guys you selected in this year's draft, with Jordan Lewis and Awuzie coming onto the club. You're hoping Nolan Carroll is able to stay out of trouble with that DUI. We'll see if he ends up getting suspended or not. Hopefully he doesn't get suspended, but we'll see what happens with that. Of course, Orlando Scandrick coming back, and then Anthony Brown, you're going to need him to step up. We're going to see if that cornerback position shapes up for you, but it looked a little shaky out there early. Again, a lot of backups, obviously, but still you don't want to see teams going right up and down the field on you, and that's what the Cardinals did on their opening 2 possessions of the game. Rico Gathers. Cowboys fans tonight got hit with the Rico. Let's not talk anything illegal tonight. But Rico Gathers, a guy that we talked about last year on the Draft Wrap-Up series as a late-round draft choice that the Cowboys were going to draft and stash, pick him up, work with him, an ex-basketball player out of Baylor that I said, if this guy can put it together, could ultimately turn out to be a steal for the Cowboys in the 7th round. Last season, he looks good. He's a big, big man. And he went up and got the football. And if you can get that out of, and we've been talking about the Cowboys tight end position for quite some time. We don't know when Jason Witten's finally going to conk out. They've been selecting tight ends. They may have the guy that they're looking for on the roster already. I thought Rico Gathers got hit with the Rico. He looked good tonight. And I think that's very encouraging if you're a Cowboys fan watching the game tonight. Bryce Butler was outstanding tonight. And I think the Cowboys drafted his replacement in Brown Noah Brown out of Ohio State. But Bryce Butler's like, look, don't count me out. And he looked good tonight. And I fully expect him to make the roster, but I think he's on the final year of his deal. So in effect, I think they're looking at Noah Brown as a guy that's going to be his understudy, learn, and maybe be able to take his spot. But Bryce Butler, he came up big for you last year when Dez Bryant went down. And I think he's the guy that's looking to solidify his spot on this roster because, again, Cowboys are loaded at receiver on the low. The Cowboys are loaded at receiver. And there's only going to be 5 spots most likely on the roster. Switzer, who didn't play tonight due to an injury. Of course, you've got your slot man from last year, Cole Beasley. Of course, Dez Bryant. That's 3 right there. You still got T. Will. That's 4. You still got Bryce Butler, that's 5, and then of course Noah Brown, who probably will be the odd man out, but nonetheless, Bryce Butler looked outstanding tonight. And I also thought that your backup quarterback that would have been in the lineup last year had he not sustained an injury, the ex-Boise State product, I thought he looked good too. And it's amazing, he's the only left-handed quarterback currently in the league, which is just mind-boggling. There used to be a ton of left-handed tossers of the football. He's the lone man standing, throwing from the left side, and I thought he looked good tonight as well. So it's good to know. It's really comforting because in this league, you have to have a quality backup quarterback. I can't state that enough. And I thought Kellen Moore looked really comfortable tonight. I thought he threw the football well, especially the deep ball, threw it really accurately. I thought he moved the football down the field and got the Cowboys into the end zone. And then finally, La'el Collins. You're looking to solidify that right tackle position. Someone's got to step up. No more Doug Free, who retired in the offseason. Someone's going to have to step up and man up that right tackle position. You're also going to look for someone at the left guard position. I think that's a position that's up for grabs as well. And so La'el Collins, I thought he looked solid tonight. Again, he's going to continue to improve. The more he plays, the better he's going to get, because we know that's a star-studded Cowboys offensive line, and they're looking for someone to come in and man up that right tackle position. I think Lyle Collins is going to get that shot, and I thought he looked solid tonight in his first performance of the season. So that's basically the takeaway from this game for both teams. Staying healthy was above all else the number one priority, and that's what both teams came out of this game doing. And so I'm anxious for the Cowboys side of things to see Jalen Smith at some point in this preseason. I want to see what he brings to the table. And for the Arizona Cardinals, you just want to see the young guys continue to progress and see them get better. And I thought it was a well-played game for the first one of the season, and so we'll see what happens. But one thing's for certain, this is the marking of never having another week go by for the next 6 months without some kind of NFL action, and that just brings a smile to every single one of our hearts as football fans out there across America. I want to leave you guys with this out there, fans of all these various teams that are subscribers to my channel. Keep your players safe. It's not safe out on those streets right now. The Reaper is leaking. He is lurking out on those streets, and he is knocking them down left and right. And all I ask is that you remain safe out there, man. You take a look at some of these teams that have been hit and hit hard. I feel bad for the Chargers each and every single year. It seems like we go through the same thing with them. If only they can stay healthy. At least they normally make it to the starting blocks before players start dropping like flies for the Chargers. It's already started for them this year, as both their first and second round picks are down. We don't know what the extent of the injury to Mike Williams is, but I'm here to tell you, it just seems like these first-round receivers are getting worse and worse every year. Last year with the Redskins, Josh Doxson really didn't play for the Redskins. Same thing could be said of the Texans' first-round wide receiver. And he's dealing with another injury. He broke his collarbone already, Will Fuller, that is. And so he's out for at least 3 months or so, I think it is, or 6 to 8 weeks, something of that magnitude. So I fully expect him to probably start the season on the PUP list. And he struggled last year with some injuries. And remember, the Bears are still waiting on their Kevin White, their receiver from 2 years ago as a rookie, to play and stay healthy. These rookie receivers just aren't panning out and staying healthy. And Mike Williams, add him to the list of guys who are struggling to stay healthy at the receiver position. Titans wide receiver out of Western Michigan, Corey Davis, he left practice with a hamstring injury. They were giving him an MRI just to make sure everything was good on his front. So the injury Reaper is striking and striking hard. He's not taking any prisoners this year. He's even coming after quarterbacks. He's being a savage this year. The fear in Miami is that Ryan Tannehill may be done for the season with a knee injury, went down with a non-contact injury. The initial reports was that he was going to be fine, no structural damage. Now the reports are coming out that the Dolphins fear he may need season-ending knee surgery. That would be a catastrophic blow to the Miami Dolphins season before it even gets underway. Jay Ajayi left practice yesterday with a concussion. So again, the Reaper is striking and striking hard. No one has been hit harder, however, than the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Flacco, their starting quarterback, with an injury that's going to keep him out 3 to 6 weeks. You're talking about Nico Saragusa, a guard that was drafted this year that they thought could be a guy that could easily start for them this season. Done for the season with an ACL tear. They lose one of their tight ends, even though he was already suspended. It didn't matter. He's gone for the season. They lose one of their running backs. He's gone for the season. They are hurting in Baltimore right now. They're struggling to stay healthy. We know about the controversy surrounding Colin Kaepernick, and they may have to do something at the quarterback position. But the Dolphins may have to do something at the quarterback position. It's getting dicey out there. If you need a quarterback, you better act fast, because teams are losing quarterbacks. I still don't know the status, and waiting on word out of New York about Sterling Shepard. He went down, was carted off, was seen crying as he left the field yesterday. That could be a catastrophic injury for the Giants at the receiver position. So teams are hurting, and the Reaper is lurking. Keep your stuff safe I urge every single one of you fans out there, keep your guys safe. The Reaper is out, and he's out for blood. Redskins had a couple guys go down. Keith Marshall, backup running back, down for the year with a torn patella tendon. Redskins got rid of him. And Jordan Reed, toe injury. We're not gonna see him all preseason long. Redskins are hoping he's ready for the season opener. So Reaper is out, and he is coming for people's stuff. I urge you, protect your stuff. That's gonna do it for your man Louie Tee here. Football is back. Everybody celebrate, rejoice. Football is back in 2017. We'll wrap up the 2017 draft wrap-up series, and then you'll see this face all up in your space as this preseason starts to get underway next week. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie Tee Network. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. I will see you guys later. Remember, protect your stuff. The Reaper is out for blood. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.